Welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 835 of the Trinity Force Podcast. I'm your host, N.A. Eric, and this is the second half of us going through the first patch of Season 14, patch 14.1. If this is the first one you're catching, last week we went over everything but the items. So if you want to hear our thoughts on everything but the items, go listen to 834. This episode is going to be exclusively items and then the mid-patch updates that have happened, the hot fixes to several items and several champions, and that's what we'll be going over. So this will still be a beefy episode just like last week was, and we're excited to get into it. But before we get into that, got to talk about how we're all doing. Colin, how are you doing? We missed you last week. You were feeling a little ill.
Yeah, a little under the weather. Wasn't feeling the best, but we're back at it this week. Good to go. Played a couple games of League. Played rank for some reason at the start of the season. It's going. I'm 9-8, so it's better than it could be. It's positive.
Yeah, that's pretty good for the first patch of the season when no one knows what the fuck is happening.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all.
But mostly ranked. Just dive right in.
Gotcha. That's the opposite approach that I will be taking when I've only played a few games on this patch entirely, and I was high while I was playing most of those. So I basically just I just played Vel'Koz, and I was like, ooh, what did Ludens get replaced with? Okay, this, and then I bought some other items that I knew what they were, and that was it.
I feel like that's the perfect frame of mind to play Vel'Koz in.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. He feels pretty good so far, but that's literally all that I've played so far in this season. So I won't have as much input as you gentlemen will on all this stuff. But cool, glad to hear you're having some early ranked success. Since I'm talking, I'll just keep talking as I normally do. But like I said, I haven't played much ranked. I haven't played any ranked at all. I haven't played much League yet on this patch. But I've been gone for a week. I was on vacation in the Dominican Republic at an all-inclusive resort for like a week. So it was a long time. But yeah, basically the patch came out. I left the next day and got back yesterday. So I was gone for the bulk of when everyone's been playing. So I got to catch up. But vacation was good. I only got a little bit of burn, and I don't tan that well. I burn pretty easily due to my overwhelmingly Scandinavian heritage, and we can't handle sun. So I just straight up burn. I'm not as bad as my dad and my brother, who are straight up lobsters, like half an hour in the sun and they'll just start turning pink. Takes me a little longer, but I have peeling a little bit on my face, but otherwise I'm all good. Yeah, DR is beautiful. So
What's your favorite thing that you did while you were there?
That's a tough one. Like, I'd say my favorite thing might have been there's a few contenders. So we did a couple of excursions while we were there. One of them was we got on a bus for like a half hour, 45-minute bus ride to it's this thing called Scape Park, like Escape, but without an E at the front. And we were in Punta Cana. So we weren't, there's lots of resort areas across the DR, but we were there. And
Okay.
it's like like a water park and other, not like a US water park though, but there's like water park and then some Dominican and Hispaniolic history walk thing, and then there's some cave stuff which wasn't happening at the time. Then you can do like a zip line across the whole place and things like that. And so that was cool. I'm not going to do a normal zip line because I'm afraid of heights. I also just don't trust zip lining or like skydiving equipment outside of the States or probably Canada as well. I just didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, maybe Canada.
Yeah, don't forget it.
But so there was a zip line that we could take that was over a pool of water, and then you drop down into it like 10, 15 feet. And I did that a few times, and that was really fun. That or the other excursion we did was we went to this island that's like half national park, um, half resorts, and it was one of the most calm, serene beaches I've ever seen and been at, and that was really cool to just take the catamaran out there and and then enjoy the beach and get some free lunch and stuff like that, and it was good. And
Awesome.
neither one of us got the Dominican version of Montezuma's Revenge. We did not get any sort of like water poisoning or anything, which is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's always a
definitely
plus.
avoid that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
no one wants water poisoning.
Nope, I didn't interact with any like dangerous water. And then one morning I walked into the bathroom and my girlfriend was rinsing her toothbrush in the sink. I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh shit!" So at that point, she was basically just like, "She might get it, might not." Didn't end up getting it, which is good. But yeah, the pools are really nice. Like the resort was really clean, and they had way more staff than I would have thought necessary. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, all-inclusives are really fun. Nice to just like not have any responsibilities and just do whatever you want, have some fun.
Exactly. Unlimited alcohol and food. Even though the food was kind of shit, it's an all-inclusive, so it's gonna be kind of shitty. But yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad I went. So yeah, John, what have you been up to while I was off partying in the DR?
Well, I have been experiencing this patch to its fullest, Derek, and
You don't
I'll
sound
tell
happy
ya.
about that at all.
Well,
Not at all.
no, I mean, so mistakenly, I mean, it's been great. Honestly, I've been enjoying it a lot. Uh, I've been playing a good bit, just normal games with friends. Played a good bit of ranked. Uh,
You were
a
saying that
decent
you've
bit
been
of
doing
ranked.
well on Rengar, and he is the third best
Yeah,
jungler on this patch. So there you
yeah. I
go.
played a lot of Rengar recently. He's feels pretty good, and
Hecarim is not
yeah,
doing so well.
yeah. I played actually a game of Hecarim, and
Yeah.
he feels quite bad in my opinion. Yeah.
What kind of build did you go?
Did I go?
Yeah.
I think I went
Bruiser,
to stand.
assassin.
I went Bruiser that game.
Yeah.
I think it
Bruiser's
feels
a
not
lot
good.
better right now. Like assassin just feels so much bad. Like other champs deal the damage so much faster. Just like Rengar,
Yeah,
an example. Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, the recommended build on u.gg is boots into Spear of Sojin into Eclipse.
I've been running Triforce. I fell back in love with Triforce. It was bad on Hecarim for a while, and now that Sheen proc is just it feels so smooth.
With Phase Rush or with Conquer?
Depending on the game, if I need to run away from people, like if there's a Trundle on the enemy team, I just can't beat even if I'm up 2 items. I need Phase Rush.
Sure. By the way, what like in the last like 5 or 6 patches, we've talked about Trundle a decent bit. What happened? He just kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like people just started playing him and realized that his
He's a
stats are really
menace.
good.
Yeah, yeah. He's really annoying in
He is
jungle
a
and
menace.
top. He's an absolute menace on the rift, dude.
Yeah, so like
Dude,
13
so hear
point
this.
13.21, he was the statistically worst top laner. And then it went up a little bit, and then in 2-3, so he jumped from a 47% win rate to 51, and then now he's still a 51. Like I don't maybe they changed something. I don't remember him getting many significant buffs at all, but like Christ. Anyways, go on.
You are playing a melee AD character into him. It's a fucking nightmare.
Truly
You
is.
cannot fight him
It's a
ever.
runaway. You need
No matter
So
what. Yeah.
I haven't, not this season, but last season. I laned against Trundle a few times as Scion, and it feels totally fine. Maybe that's one specific matchup that it doesn't matter, but or maybe I just faced shit Trundles. It felt completely fine to play against him.
I feel like it's okay for him because the thing with him that I feel like is really annoying is like, I mean, you're just building a bunch of health as Scion, right? Like,
Yeah.
mostly, but he steals resistance, so I feel like that could be maybe part of it. I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know if I don't know that matchup honestly, but
It doesn't like he'll pillar you, and if you can get around one side, you know where he's gonna run, so you can queue him, or you can take phase rush and then be able to get away from him too, because you can tap Q and E and auto him, and then you have the phase rush proc to run away from him. Plus that fat shield. I don't know. That's the only matchup that I've really played that's fair for Trundle up top. I mean, I played Quinn against him, and that's Trundle's worst matchup, and it's very evident why. And I played Kale into it too, and Kale feels good there too.
he's bad against AP burst. I know.
So I should play Lysandra top, my patented Lysandra top into him, is what I'm hearing.
Elise top.
I seen it once and it was actually really good. So
It
yes,
is.
I'm with it.
Udyr. You could play Udyr into him maybe. AP Udyr.
I miss the old Udyr. I want them to revert him.
Bring back the dot.
Yep.
I feel like his autos looked more satisfying the old ones.
They were, for sure. And his
In my
skins looked better because they were just so like old and janky that they were better. Some of his skins, but before he had arguably two of the worst skins in the game. Like Black Belt Udyr looked terrible, and then Primal Udyr looked pretty terrible as well. Like it's up there in contention with like the first two skins that Talon has, some of like Earthbound Skarner as well, and like a couple other ones I think just are fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also just going back to Trundle, dude. He's insane. He really so.
Need to say it one more time.
No, I need to say it one more time, but also I need to say that to remind myself of there was one game where my friend was playing Trundle top. I was playing Rengar. I think my other friend was playing Diana. I got both of the Void Grubs spawns.
Oh,
then,
they just split push
dude,
and melted turrets.
we all just we 1-3-1'd and just melted turrets. It was absolutely we won. I think after we got both spawns of the like we won game with Herald. Like it was
Damn.
absurd how fast we
team
could.
for taking towers.
Yeah.
We move on for a couple seconds and turret's gone.
It was kind of insane.
I haven't in the games I've played. I think it was 4 games. We were. I have not had a. I was playing Vel'Koz, so I can't really go do those grubs, but have not had a single grub capture on my team, so I have no idea what it feels like yet.
Dude, you know who's really good at doing them is Fiddlesticks.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
You should try that. You should try that, Eric.
It's really good at backroom too. Just press Q.
Yeah. Yeah, the Fiddlesticks one I saw, and I was like, whoa. That's kind of insane. Yeah, you should give Lily a go, too. I think Lilia feels very good.
She's
Played a
the second
good
best
Lilia.
jungler right now.
Yeah.
Who's the number one?
Ivern for the 6th patch in a row.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
For the last year. Play Ivern is what they're saying, guys. Everyone's like,
1.9% pick rate. I mean, that's why there's a good win rate, because like the people who play Ivern are playing Ivern. No one else is playing Ivern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, should we get into the items then?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So what we're gonna do is cover the items, and I have notes on which ones were hot fixed. So as we cover the item, if it was hot fixed, we'll read what it was, and then the hot fix, and then we'll discuss it. Otherwise, we'll just read it and then discuss it. So, first off, the items that are gone are Crown of the Shattered Queen, Everfrost, Leeching Leer, which was the non-blasting one part that built into Riftmaker, Demonic Embrace, and then Stopwatch / perfectly timed Stopwatch. So League of Stopwatch is over. Thank God. Okay, so first item is the new Riftmaker. Total cost is 3,000 gold. The item recipe is Haunting Guise plus Fiendish Codex plus 800 gold. We'll cover Haunting Guise in a minute. It gives you 80 ability power, 15 ability haste, 350 health. It's got a couple of uniques as well. So Void Corruption. For each second in combat with enemy champions, deal 2% bonus damage, max 10%. At maximum strength, gain, if you're a melee character, 10%. If you're range, 6% Omnivamp. So it is a little different than how it used to function. And then also gain 2% of your bonus health as AP. So that was a passive from Demonic, which is now gone. They also changed the way that Omnivamp works. And so Omnivamp now heals you for percentage of damage you deal with a 20 with reduce effect. It's 20% effective on minions and monsters. Additionally, Omnivamp heals for the full amount, though, with your jungle pet or AoE damage. Previously, you used to get, I think, the full heal off of minions and monsters, but AoE was significantly less effective. And then jungle pets, I think, had less as well. So they kind of reversed how that worked. And I guess I'll go get Haunting Guise real quick, too, because it's a component item. So it's 1,300 gold. The item recipe is Amp Tome, Ruby Crystal, and 500 gold. It gives you 35 AP, 200 health. And the passive is Madness. For each second in combat with enemy champions, deal 2% bonus damage up to a maximum of 6%. So it's a... it does that. So, guys, have you built or seen much Riftmaker? And then Haunting Guise is a component item, but seen much Riftmaker around the Rift?
I've seen it only once so far. It was a Vlad, because it
Yeah.
works perfectly with Vlad, and you'd always take this. And it was really strong. Oh, also, there's actually an Oriana who took it with a weird HP build, and she was hard to kill with the Riftmaker.
Was she doing much damage?
Not bad. Yes, but only because she could survive for so long. It wasn't the
Okay.
worst. It was just a lot of.
She was Drain Tank Oriana, is what I'm hearing.
Basically, Rod of Ages too.
That sounds terrible.
We did win that game.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think, so what champs do you, John, when you're looking at this, what champs other than Vlad, which I agree is a total perfect case, what champions do you think should be building Riftmaker at some point in their build?
Okay, so I'll answer your question. The first thing, though, that was on my mind is I actually last night tried a game of, because I saw someone playing it, AP Zin Zhao.
I was just thinking that Zin would be
Yeah.
perfect with this.
And, oh boy, that is a fun build. You go Nashers into Riftmaker. Oh, all your spells, your W, your E, and your R just do so much damage. And you have an absurd amount of attack speed and your heal. The
Heal's
is
insanity.
gross. Yeah, the heal is really gross. And then once you get Riftmaker, it synergizes really well with that. I just wanted to try it because it looked fun.
Yeah,
and
so
it is very fun.
here are his ratios. So his heal, the heal itself doesn't have I guess so it's every third auto consumes it deals bonus physical damage, which if you have AD, then it does that will do more damage. So that you won't get the extra damage on the auto. However, the heal doesn't have an AD ratio. It's 3 to 4% of your max health based on level. Its levels 1, 6, 11 are the breakpoints, and it has a 65% AP ratio. Then his Q has no AP ratios at all. The W does on not the slash, just the thrust. So he does the little slash and then the thrust. The thrust has a 65% AP ratio. And then the E has the magic damage itself has a 60% AP ratio, and his ult has a 110% AP ratio. So everything but his Q is augmented, and then if you have attack speed and Nashor's Tooth, the Q is still really good, because it also renews your cooldowns too. So he has legit AP ratios.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. I've played it once before, and it was fun.
Yeah, I played AP7
Like,
once. It was really good. Had a
yeah.
fun time.
But to be clear, that is a fun build. The most optimal build on him, I've actually played a decent bit of Zinzao recently
Mhm.
too.
Oh, he's
And
good right now.
yeah, he's real good. He feels good. You go currently the highest win rate build is Titanic into Sunder Sky, and you're just so tanky, and you do so much damage. I feel like I
It's lethal
played like
tempo, right?
yep,
It's
lethal
auto, yeah.
tempo. You go yeah. I was going inspiration secondary,
Good
but
experimental
yeah,
hex plate, which we'll talk about.
yeah, that item's pretty insane.
Hey,
I've
no
tried that one as
spoilers.
well.
We'll get to it, guys. Come on.
All right, let's
Yeah.
get into that next mage item. Stop talking about bruiser items.
Yeah.
All right,
I
well,
love bruiser items.
go ahead and take it then, Colin.
Yep. What is it? Malignance. It is 2,800 gold. The recipe is a lost chapter, Phoenix Codex, and 700 gold. It is 80 AP, 20 ability haste, 600 mana, and the passive Scorn. Gain 20 ability haste for your ultimate and passive Hate Fog. Whenever you deal or whenever you damage an enemy champion with your ultimate, burn the ground beneath them for 3 seconds, dealing 60 plus 6% AP magic damage per second, and reducing their magic resist by 1 per user level. As long as they are on the burning ground, note the radius increases based on damage done. So the more damage you deal, the bigger the AoE. I understand that.
Yep.
Pretty good item. Works really well for a bunch of champs. Timo. I saw GP go AP and his ultimate. If you can get people stuck in there, it does a lot of damage. A Mumu, Malzahar, of course.
So,
The champions who want it, and there's a lot who don't.
yeah, so question about how this works since you've seen it in game. Does it so it's whenever you deal damage you burn the ground. Is it like let's say you have an ultimate that's a dot. Let's say it's like I don't know, Anivia, for example. Does it
It would burn the whole time.
and it moves the burn where you are when you're every tick you're getting dealt damage?
Well, it goes below them, so just as if they take damage from your ultimate, like it'll appear below them. There's no cooldown on it, so it would just make a bigger cloud, really.
Okay, so so the like let's say that you move let's say it ticks every second. I mean, just for simplicity's sake, the
Yeah.
first second the area burns and it spawns. Then the next second, if you move to a different spot and you're no longer on that spot, the new spot presumably would pop up and the old spot is still there for another couple seconds. And then that just continually happens for as long as they're damaged by the ultimate.
That would be. I think that is how that works. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, I can understand why it wouldn't be, because like, if it's just moved over slightly, it's probably not at that maybe, or maybe you can only be affected by it once.
Yeah, it sounds like it should only be once or once every 3 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, once every 3 seconds, or only one can be affecting you, or it works the other way maybe. But you're
Okay.
really good on the like Timo.
I think Mal's would love this item.
Mal's, yeah.
It's gross on Timo.
Yeah, Timo's really strong right now, sadly.
Yep, Timo is getting nerfed in the next patch, and I think he was already nerfed in the mid-patch update as well.
Yeah.
Which we will get to.
You know, I saw that Timo. I mean, it's like not insane sample size, but Timo Jungle actually is.
It's doing really well.
Yeah.
Is doing well. I try to clear like in practice still with him. Dude, his clear is so fucking healthy. It's gross.
Yeah. Doesn't the blind
He
last like
clears-
twice as long on jungle monsters or something?
It's something like that. I mean, it feels like a forever. I mean, they never hit you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're just full HP coming out of the jungle as Timo. But I mean, you're not gonna do much. But I mean, he can full clear healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that item built on him a good bit.
I've seen
sure.
Some clips of the Azup, the Vel'Koz streamer, building this on him, and I don't know. I'm not as good as him, so I'll take his word for it. But it seems a little weird to build him there. I think like I don't know, anything that has a slow or a root or a stun or something would be good with this.
I mean, it pairs well with Vel'Koz's ulti.
Puzzle,
As long as you
Yeah.
just hit them right, and it's just because it's like a channel that's longer. It works well on Fiddlesticks too. You don't need
Ooh,
that.
that's a good one. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like Hui and Victor, I'm
Um,
thinking, but you can kind of run out of theirs pretty easily.
Maybe Kennen, but I feel like it's not bursty enough.
If you go AP Ivern, I think this would be good. Daisy knocks you up, and then you're on the Hate Fog. Just a thought. Never mind.
No problem. Yeah, John, you wanna hit us the Ludens?
Yes, Luden's Companion. Total cost 3,000. The recipe is Lost Chapter, a Hextech alternator, and 700 gold. And it gives you 90 AP, 20 ability haste, 600 mana, and then the first passive load. Gain a shot charge every 3 seconds, up to a maximum of 5 or 6 rather. And then the other passive is Fire. Damaging abilities consume all shot charges to deal an additional 40 plus 8% AP magic damage to the target and one additional target nearby per charge. If there are insufficient targets in range for each remaining shot, repeat the damage on the primary target, dealing 35% of the damage. I have not used this item personally. I know it's on like kind of meant for like bursty characters, like
And poke characters, too.
really.
Yeah.
Who would be like a good example of?
Well,
someone
Vel'Koz
who
likes
used
it. I've built it on
Vel'Koz?
him. Yeah, and it feels good. So the build path is good, and that's the sense I'm getting from when I'm reading through all this. The build paths for most of these items feel pretty good, but anyways, it feels pretty good to use, and you people aren't used to it yet, so you catch people off guard with the multiple Ludens procs that you can throw out. Like his Q, if you hit 3 targets with a Vel'Koz Q, it should use 3 charges, and then that can hit multiple times. So you can do some serious damage there. I've seen it on Lux, and it looks great for Lux, as does Storm Surge.
Xerath as well.
Yeah, anybody that has poke, like I bet if you wanted, like this is a good, maybe if you want to do hybrid, like Ezreal would be great with this. Anyone who can do repeated, anybody who can do repeated damage with it, because I believe I'm gonna look it up. I don't think they're saying it here, but if you have multiple charges to get rid of it once, then each successive charge deals less damage than if you're just doing one at a time. So it's like constant poke is more valuable for this than individual.
Don't charge it up.
Yeah, that's the
So
idea
like
of it.
Talia would be good on Talia. Then
Yeah, her Q would be great for it. Yeah, so I guess it does say it kind of here. So yeah, it's for each remaining shot, repeat the damage on the primary target, doing 35% damage. So whenever you hit it, does all the damage all at once. But if you're able to hit, let's say you have 6 of them, yeah, it'll do more damage. But if you were to use those incrementally, if you're able to hit skill shots and hit spells, it does that. It does that over and over again for full damage. So maybe I'm not saying it the right way, but it's better generally. Like you're getting more value if you're using the fire charges, the shot charges, one by one rather than stacking them up. Obviously, that's not always possible, but you know.
In an ideal world, yeah. I do like how it's just everyone setting down a staff and then picking up a gun. That's what this is.
Yep.
Get rid of the staff, got a gun. Nice.
Yeah, Luden's gun.
Yeah. Okay, so next we'll do Storm Surge. So this one has been hot fixed, and I'll just read this and then move to the hot fix of it. So the total cost is 2,900 gold. The item recipe: Hextech Alternator, Aether Wisp, and 950 gives you 100 AP, 10 Magic Pen, 5% movement speed, and has a couple of passives. So the first one is called Storm Raider, dealing 35% of a champion's max health within 3 seconds. Applies Storm Surge to them and grants the user 25% move speed for 2 seconds, and that has a 30-second cooldown. So, what is Storm Surge? After 2 seconds, Storm Surge strikes the target with lightning, dealing 120 to 260 based on, I think it's your level, plus 40% AP if you're melee, and 30% AP if you're ranged. Actually, the base is different if you're ranged too. The base is 90 to 195 if you're ranged. So it deals that magic damage to them. If they die to the lightning or before the lightning strikes, it detonates immediately in a large area around them and you gain 30 gold. So if you overkill them, you still have a little bit of payoff. Or if it's about to hit and someone else kills them, then you still get a little bit of payoff there. Okay, and so this one was hot fix. And I think it's going to be nerfed again next patch. But Storm Surge, the passive damage on it was 120 to 260 plus 40% AP, or 90 to 195 plus 30% AP. Now it is 100 to 200 plus 30% AP if you're melee, and then 75 to 150 plus 22.5% AP. So pretty significant AP ratio hits, and the base damage was hit decently significantly as well. For this being a 30-second cooldown interaction. So, yeah, I've seen this a bit. I haven't actually built it myself. Games haven't gone long enough for me to get more than 2 items the few that I've played. But I've seen it on Lux. Is really the only champion I've seen buy it, and it looks really good though.
Yeah, it's really good. Especially before the nerfs. I mean, even now it's still a good item. I've seen it built a decent amount, and just that like AOE damage can sometimes just do like a massive amount. Like I had a Katarina go in with this item, and if she goes in on a full team, they are just being nuked because like the ADC or the not tank support will just die right away. Deals a bunch of damage to everybody.
Damn.
Pretty strong sometimes, and plus that gold is nice too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it definitely adds up.
Yeah. I guess
I think that 100 AP, I remember when I first saw this item, I'm like, dude, this item gives you 100 AP on top of doing this.
With some magic pen.
Yeah, with magic pen.
And move speed as well.
I've tried this on Echo. I think it feels pretty good.
For 2,900, this is solid.
Oh, it's a fucking steal for 2,900.
Yeah.
This is like a 3,100 item, in my opinion, if not 32.
They need to buff the stats a bit more if they're going to do that. I've looked, I guess I should have said, but I've been looking at the cost analysis, the gold efficiency of these items. Last one, like Luden's Companion at base stats is 121% gold efficient. That's before its unique passives, and then but Storm Surge is 89% before the unique passives. I know this one does more damage in a burst, but if they were gonna make it more expensive, they need to give it a little more raw stats, I think.
Yeah. How much they took 10 ADs in?
What for the nerf?
Storm Surge. Yeah.
They took took away 10% AP if you're melee. If you're range, they reduced it by 7.5% AP, and then the flat damage went down by 20, I think, at all ranks, if I remember correctly. Or it went down by 20 early. Let me see. It was 120 to 260. Now it's 100 to 200, and then 75 to 150. So bigger hit late game than early game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess the passive is really what's real, like,
yeah,
the strength of item. A lot of the strength of the item is
100%.
as how it being overpowered, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Zanya's. You don't buy it for the base stats, you buy it for the active.
Yeah. The item is, I will say, very satisfying to use.
It looks like it is. Yeah. Yeah, this is just burst mages, very clearly.
Yep. So ready for Hextech?
Go for it.
Belt. All right. It was patched. We'll get to that. 2,500 gold for Hextech. It is a Hextech alternator, a Kindle gem, and 600 gold. Gives you 60 ability power, 300 HP, 15 ability haste, and the active is supersonic. You dash in target direction, unleashing an arc of magic missiles, dealing 175 plus 15% magic damage with a 40-second cooldown. And the hot fix was a nerf that is reducing the damage on the active by 50 flat, and that is it. Too much damage. I mean, for 2,500 and like still having a dash in the mage class, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, this is for the cost, like for this being 2,500, this is such a good item. It's also it's worth noting the gold efficiency is 110% too. So this is a fantastic item.
And then adds an extra damage and a dash, which I mean, like with like your Diana who just wants that little bit of extra like room so she can do her combo.
Yeah. It's worth noting that the previous version of Rocket Belt last season had, once you do the dash, you get move speed towards enemy champions for like a second and a half or 2 seconds. That is gone.
Yeah,
so it is purely just the dash now.
Yeah. Which is not the biggest dash, but Gale Force is gone, Prowler's Claw's gone. Mage still got theirs.
Yep. I haven't built this yet, but it looks like it's, very solid.
Same
tried it
before, just a little worse. So.
Yeah, I tried it on Echo. I mean, it feels good. It's super cheap. Yeah, it feels like for how pretty solid all around stats for that class.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that feels good.
Cool. John, you want to take Cosmic Drive?
Yeah, Cosmic Drive, 3,000 gold. And then the recipe is a Kindle Gem, Aether Wisp, Fiendish Codex, and then 450 gold. And stat wise, it gives you 80 ability power, 250 health, 25 ability haste, and 5% movement speed. And then the unique passive, Spell Dance, damaging an enemy champion with an ability grants 25 to 60 move speed, and that's based on your level.
Like it doesn't say a certain amount of time though.
Yeah, I know. Like what?
It does it for 2 seconds. The wiki is 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's pretty linearly scaling too. I'm looking at the numbers. It's pretty linear.
I've built this on Lilia, I think, as like a third item. I can't really speak to it too much other than that. I don't think I built it on anyone else.
It's a stat checky item, is what it is. It's without Spell Dance being active, it's 126% gold efficient. And when Spell Dance is active, depending on what level you are, it's either 130%, 136% gold efficient, or 150% gold efficient. It's just a fucking stat bomb, is what it is here, with a little bit of
Movement speed and 5% movement speed. That's a lot.
It's a lot of movement speed.
Yeah,
People are not going to stay on you.
It sounds gross on Vlad.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Vlad and Lilia, very good.
Yep. Silas would like this a lot.
Ari as well.
Yeah, anyone that likes AP and health but doesn't want mana, Mordekaiser, if you want to go this. Yeah.
Yeah, still Cassiopeia.
Yep, still Cass.
What do we have next?
I did Haunting Guys. We have the changes to Alternator.
Alternator is really good right now for the price, I think.
Yeah.
It's a solid. It already was.
Yes, dude. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, so I'll go through it. It's Hextech Alternator. This is a component item that builds into a bunch of stuff. But the cost is 1,100 gold. The item recipe is an amp tome or 2 amp tomes and then 300 gold. Gives you 50 AP, gives you no other stats, but it gives you the passive revved, which is the same as what it had before, I believe. Damaging a champion deals an additional 50 to 125 based on level magic damage. And for being just a component item for what this gives you, it's crazy strong. And the scaling is pretty linear when I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's a component item. Not a ton to say about it other than it's nice for the gold value.
The recipe too
50
is so
AP.
nice.
Yeah, it is.
True. 50 AP for 1100 is solid.
Yeah.
So good for your Echo or any of the like assassin mages.
Yeah, 50 AP apparently is 1,000 gold worth, so you're overpaying for by 100, but that revved passive is very good. So.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Okay. Well. John or
Yeah,
which order are we
I
going?
can do Leander's
All right. Take
Torment.
Leandry's.
So it's 3K. The recipe is Haunting Guys, Blasting Wand, and 850 gold. And it gives you 90 AP, 300 health. The first passive, Torment, dealing damage with abilities, causes enemies to burn for 2% maximum health magic damage per second for 3 seconds. And then the other passive, Suffering, for each second in combat with enemy champions, gain 2% bonus damage, up to a max of 6% bonus damage. And then the damage cap to monsters per second is changed from 100 to 50. I mean, the item pretty much functions the same, I think.
Yeah, they just changed the mana to HP, which, I mean, that is very nice for some champs.
Yeah, I feel like this feels really, really good on Lilia.
Yep, anybody with the Barons, Singe, Bran,
Yeah,
team
Bran, yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually good for Lillian now because this is what it used to be a few years ago. Because she doesn't give a shit about mana unless she's playing in top lane. But most of the time, Lily is out of the jungle, and mana doesn't matter in the jungle. You want the health. So now you don't have to maybe go Roa, or you used to go Demonic Embrace, which is gone. So now I think this is always Lilia's first purchase. Like, always, always.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I guess you could go Riftmaker if they're an extremely tanky team, but I don't think that makes sense generally.
Yeah, I agree with that. Leandra's is such a good item for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the exact same thing as before, just a little different. Next up, Horizon Focus. It's coming back. It is 2,700 gold. The recipe is Hextech Alternator, Fiendish Codex, and 700 gold. It gives 90 ability power, 20 ability haste, and it has passive Hyper Shot. When you deal damage with abilities to champions at 700 range or greater, reveal them for 6 seconds. Deal 10% increased damage to enemies revealed by Hyper Shot. Passive focus when revealing an enemy with Hypershot, reveal all enemy champions within 1200 range of them for 2 seconds, and that's a 30-second cooldown. So, same thing as before. I think I don't know if it's better or worse. I mean, that vision's really nice, and then you deal more damage on everybody nearby instead of just the one target, so I'd say that's a buff, unless the numbers are worse. They're buffing this next patch, I do know that.
Let me look at what it used to be. But I've built this on Vel'Koz, and it feels fantastic, I think. The vision, just especially with the new map and people not being super familiar with everything, allows you to, really, really do that. And yeah, help a lot with that. Apparently pets don't trigger Hypershot, so if you hit Tibbers, you won't know. But it's so nice just to be able to throw out if you have a spammable ability, just throw it out before you walk anywhere near anything, and then and then it's actually quite it's pretty good.
It'd be
It
safe
could be
for
good
the
on
Rengar
Lux.
in the bush. Yeah, Lux. For sure.
So before I have the stats, it gave you 150 health because Hextech Alternator had some health built into it, 15 ability haste, and 100 AP. So the stat profile was a little different, but pretty much the same. And the build was this build is actually much nicer. Um, so it was Hextech Alternator, Fiendish Codex, and some gold. So the recipe didn't itself change, but you used to have 1050 gold to combine it, and now it's 700. It used to be terrible sitting on like 1050 gold as a mage. Felt like shit. Um, and the new passive focus was not a part of the item either. Hypershot was.
That is really nice.
So I think it's infinitely better.
30 seconds isn't much. I mean, that just saves your team from dying when you go to an objective and you have vision.
Yeah, you can throw if you have a really long range ability, you throw it out when you're trying to check in to like if they're doing Baron or they're trying to bush camp you for something like Baron or Dragon or some some grubs or some shit, or if you're worried about getting ganked, you could just hit the player in lane and then it'll reveal if they're in a bush, anyone, stuff like that. Very utilitarian item.
Yep, gonna see it on a lot of support mages.
Yep.
Your Xerath, your Lux.
Yep. So, yep, we have a few more mage items, and then we'll try and start to pick up the pace for the rest of these. So, Seeker's Arm Guard got changed. It now is 1600 gold, Amp Tome plus Cloth Armor, and 500 gold, so it's significantly more expensive. It gives you 45 AP, 25 armor, and then there's unique active of Stasis. Use only one time to become invulnerable and untargetable for 2.5 seconds, and basically it's what Stopwatch was. It functions as Stopwatch, but it has stats built into it, and I like that they deleted Stopwatch and then moved the Stopwatch active into this.
Me too.
Yep. And then John, you want to take Crypt Bloom? Crypt Bloom.
Yeah, Crypt Bloom is 2850. Builds a Blighting Jewel, Fiendish Codex, 850 gold, and then it gives you 60 AP, 10 ability haste, 30 magic pen, and then the passive Life from Death. Whenever you get a takedown on an enemy champion within 3 seconds of damaging them, create a healing nova on their location that heals allies for 50 plus 50% AP, and it has a 60-second cooldown on the passive. I'm not built it or seen much.
I have not seen this item once. I think it is a bad item. 60-second cooldown for that is not good.
Yeah, the stats
like
are
30
good.
magic pen though. Yeah,
the stats are great, but the unique passive is awful.
The thing is, if you're going for magic pen, which is like most of the reason why you'd buy this item, you just go for void staff instead.
Yeah,
this is a strange passive.
Who builds this? Like, who could realistically use this well?
Assassin support. I don't know, Karma, full AP.
I'm struggling to come up with someone that would want. I mean, Nami maybe with a diver.
I just feel like there's just better items for those, like your Enchantress.
Yeah, Ivern could use this, but it's like the magic pen is a little weird there. Yuumi, maybe? Like AP Yuumi?
Maybe Nico, I could see. Like as a third item, maybe? I don't know.
I haven't seen it built once yet. So
I haven't either.
That's how I'm gonna think about that item. It is not an item yet. It's
AP Blitz, since I think AP Blitz might like this. But like, yeah, you guys can hear we're grasping at straws to find someone to make this work.
What is this item?
Yeah, it's very stat efficient, 124% gold efficient. So you get your money's worth in stats, and maybe you just buy it for that and don't give a fuck about the passive. I don't know.
All right, up next then, I guess. We got Shadow Flame. Total cost 3,200 gold. The recipe is Needlessly Large Rod, Hextech Alternator, and 850. Not the greatest path, same as before, basically. 120 AP, 10 magic pen, and then the passive is Cinder Bloom. Magic damage and true damage critically strike enemies below 35% HP, or dealing 20% increased damage, increased to 30% increased damage for damage over time and pet effects. I mean, it's a solid item. That passive is so good. Just being able to crit and get extra damage on all your attacks when they're low HP, especially with the dots. Teemo, Singe, Bran. And it just gives you magic pen and AP, so like a lot of champs can build this. I think it's really good.
This looks like an Annie item for sure, because you get the persistent on the aura of Tibbers and the pet being Tibbers.
True.
Yeah, I'm looking at what it used to be, and thank God that they removed the shielding aspect of this item because it was not doing what it was intended to. The build path is worse, though. You have to sit on 150 extra gold.
Yeah, the passive of the old Shadow Flame was just kind of rough. It just, I like that they're trying to do something with shields for AP, but like, it was a mess.
They just need to redo the shield items, and they didn't really touch them here very much, I don't think. So
I'm gonna take the next one too. It's the biggest buff of the game. Amp Tome. Cost going down from 435 to 400, with the AP staying the same.
woo.
What an
Bookworm.
outrage.
Yeah, what about the long swords? They need some love.
Yeah, let's make those long swords 300.
Oh my god.
That would be disgusting.
Just make them 400 and increase the AD a little bit. Then those base components of AD and AP are 400. That's what I would
Make
say.
them both give 20 for 400.
Yeah, or I don't know how much, whatever, yeah, an equivalent amount. Maybe it's 15 or some shit. I don't know.
Nah, just buff long swords up to 20. Twice the damage.
For 50 gold, yeah.
A single longsword gives you 35 damage.
Christ.
I want to run through these next two as well.
Go for it.
Blasting Wand. The gold is unchanged. The AP is going from 40 to 45, so a bit more love for Blasting Wand. Needlessly large rod AP, or the cost is still 1250, and the AP has gone from 60 to 70. So just lots of love for the AP components.
Which
So
is
they
nice
were
because they were
not
terrible
the
to sit
greatest,
on. Yeah.
but now very good. So good for mages.
Cool. Well, the next one that actually is significant is, and actually one you have to pay attention to, is the Zanya's change. So Zanya's, the cost went from 3,000 to 3,250. The new build path is Seeker's Arm Guard that we talked about a little bit earlier, plus Needlessly Large Rod, so a pink rod, and 400 additional gold. The AP went from 80 to 120. The ability haste is gone, none. The armor went from 45 to 50, and its passive of the stasis is unchanged. So just some stat changes and some build path changes for Zanya's.
Overall, I like these changes.
Yep, and it's an expensive item now to be buying, because
Yeah.
before it was, I mean, okay, they buffed it, they changed it halfway through last season or whatever, I think, to make it 3,000 gold from like 2,600 to make it more stat heavy as opposed to just a stopwatch bot. But now it's actually like you're buying this because you really need stasis and it's giving you a bunch of stats as opposed to just being a stasis bot. I like it.
Yeah, 120 AP, 50 armor. That's some solid stats right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially for champs who don't need that ability haste, that AP is so much more valuable for 250 gold.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Very true. Yeah, very true. Like a Vladimir doesn't need that ability haste because he gets it so much from elsewhere. So far, from what we've been talking about, Vlad seems like a huge winner on these mage changes.
It's every mage.
I think he's-
Vlad is definitely
yeah.
gonna shine.
Yeah, Vlad does seem pretty good. Maybe I need to give him a roll again. I feel like I'm very hit or miss with that character.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay, we have what, 3, 4? Oh my God, they changed. Oh Jesus Christ, we may not get through all the items today. Maybe we just decide to not touch the mid patch update champions then, and try and speed through the rest of these items.
All right, take us through Banshee's Veil, John.
Yeah, and Verdant Barrier
Okay.
as well, since it's linked together.
Yep, I'll take you through that journey of Banshee's Veil.
Thank you.
Cost change 2,600 to 3,100 gold. The recipe is needlessly large rod, a verdant barrier, and then 50 gold. AP was changed from 80 to 120. The MR was changed 45 to 50, and then ability haste. It no longer has ability haste. It used to be 10, now it's 0. And then the passive annul grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability. 30-second cooldown. Cooldown is restarted when damage is taken from champions. I mean, I think for all intents and purposes, it pretty much functions the same.
Yeah, the wording apparently on annul is exactly the same, so no change.
And then Verdant Barrier, the component in Banshee's Veil, cost going from 1,000, now it's 1,800. The recipe is Amp Tome, 2 Amp Tomes, a No Magic Mantle, and then 550 gold. And then the ability power went from 20 to 40, the MR 25 to 30, and then the annul passive.
Oh, it gives the annul passive. No, damn.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
It's it takes twice as long to recover though. Verdant Barrier, it's 60-second cooldown. Banshees, it goes down to 30 seconds.
Okay, I like that.
I do too.
Like the component, like having a similar passive, but it not being as good.
Yeah, late game you could just buy just a Verdant Barrier if you need it for a specific fight. If you can afford it, it's 1,800, but still.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't do this on stuff like healing reduction.
Because they're not thinking.
Yeah. Make me the healing reduction overhaul person.
All right, Colin, take us through Archangels and Seraphs.
Archangel staff. Total cost 3,000. Recipes: a needlessly large raw Kindle gem, Tear of the Goddess, 550 gold. Wait, what? What is the second part? And then oh, that's what
It's
it
being
was. and now,
changed, yeah.
yeah. Now it is a Lost Chapter Phoenix Codex, Tear of the Goddess, and 500 gold. So a little different there. We got a better recipe. AP is going from 70 to 80, and then the ability haste is going from 10 to 20. Mana 500 to 600. Passive awe, gain AP equal to 1% of your bonus mana. Passive mana charge: whenever you hit a target with an ability, you get a charge and gain additional 5 mana. Doubled if you hit a champion, so 10 mana. Grants a maximum of 860 mana, at which point it'll transform into Seraphs. This item transforms in the Seraph.
360. You said 860.
Did I say 860 the first
That's
time?
what I heard.
Oh, it does say 860.
It does?
By
Oh.
Riot, yeah.
I see 360
see
on
it.
the page. In any case.
It says 860
Oh,
in the description,
there.
but then it says 360 afterwards.
Oh, okay. So it's
Right,
it's 360, folks. It's not 860.
Not 860. I got baited by Riot. And then we go into Seraph's Embrace. It is the AP is up 10, the ability haste is up 10 because of Archangels. So 70, 80, and 10 to 20. And then the mana goes from 860 to 1000. Removed the 200 HP, it's now 0. And the new passive Lifeline. Upon taking damage that would reduce your health below 30%, gain a 250 plus 20% current mana shield for 3 seconds on a 90-second cooldown. And also the passive awe, you instead of gaining 1 AP equal to 1% bonus mana, you gain 2% instead of 1. So same as before, but better.
Yeah,
it depends if you want the HP, I guess.
Yeah, so it's less of a Cassiopeia and more of a this works better on mages, like poke mages a bit better.
Yeah.
I thought the health was like an overloaded thing in this item.
I agree with you.
I'm glad they did this.
Especially once they gave it the shield as opposed to when they changed it from whatever it used to be to give it the shield.
The shield is so good. Yeah, I thought that having the shield and then having 200 HP on top of that was just a little much, in my opinion. So I'm
Yeah,
glad they changed it.
So people are less tanky, or mages.
as they should be. It's worth noting that Archangel's staff is 118.67% gold efficient before you even start stacking the tier, so that's very good. And then Seraph's is 146.67% gold efficient. Yeah,
Very good.
plus it goes up from every bonus mana you get from other sources too. So it is purely stats plus a shield on all of this. Very stat efficient. So
Very good item. Yep.
very, very good item. Okay, next
We'll see the
one
next
is Death Cap. Yes, I will take it through. I'm preempting what you were going to say. Okay, so Rabadon's Death Cap. The total cost, 3,600 gold, is unchanged. The recipe is unchanged. It's 2 pink rods and 1,100 gold. The AP, however, is the first thing that's changed on this item. The AP went from 120 to 140, and the unique passive increase your AP by 40%. Now it's increase it by 35%. So I don't like this change. I wish they would have kept it as is. Maybe they needed to change the AP number because of what pink rods give you, but make it 3,800 and keep it to increase your AP by 40%. I don't know. I don't like that change of it because since it's more front loaded with AP, you could plausibly buy this as a second item and it makes more sense. But like before, you don't want to buy it before maybe a third at the earliest, maybe fourth or something, because then you're not getting the full value out of the item since it's more backloaded in a build. Not a fan.
Yeah, it seems like they only did it because they need the change. Need to see large rods for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just need to match that 70 instead of 60.
Also, there's nothing wrong with if keeping it at
It goes
40%, and yeah, when you complete the item, you get less raw AP, but then you still get the percent AP increase.
It'd make the build path better.
It would.
Satisfying.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is the same. Like, we don't have to ask who builds it and how they build it. It's just when you build it, it's the same shit as before.
It's Death Cap. Yep.
It's Death Cap. So with that, I will just go into Void Staff, and then I will hand it off to John for Roa. So Void Staff total cost is going up by 200. Now it's 3,000 gold. The item recipe was a Blighting Jewel plus a Blasting Wand plus 850. Now it is Blighting Jewel plus Blasting Wand plus 1050. So that feels fucking awful to build. AP 65 to 80, and the Magic Pen unchanged. It's the same Void Staff as before. It's 150 gold, or it's 200 gold. More expensive to build, gives you 15 more AP. You build it when they're building Magic Resist. If they're not building Magic Resist, you don't build this item. Same as before. So, John, take Roa for us, and then Catalyst as well.
Yep, Roa 20. Total cost was reduced from 2,800 to 2,600 gold, and then the recipe was changed from a Blasting Wand, Catalyst, Amp Tome, and 215 gold to now a Blasting Wand, Catalyst, and 550 gold. And AP changed from 60 to 50. Health 400 to 350. Mana 400 to 300. And then the passive, pretty much the same, other than they removed for every 200 healing or mana restored with Eternity, the passive gained 35% bonus move speed. That decays over 3 seconds. They took that out, but it still has the passive where the item gains 20 health, 20 mana, and 4 ability power every 60 seconds, up to 10 times, for a maximum of 200 health, 200 mana, and 40 ability power. And then upon reaching maximum stacks, you gain a level. And then Eternity, the passive I just mentioned, as part of the one that got removed. But this one, to be clear, is still part of the item. Restore mana equal to 7% of pre-mitigation damage taken from champions, and health equal to 25% of mana spent. Up to 20 health per cast per second. So basically the same, other than the 200 healing or mana restored with that Eternity passive. You get the move speed. They took that out, but otherwise it functions basically the same. Just 200 less gold. That's just for adjusting it from being a mythic before, and then reduction in price, and then accordingly with the stats. So pretty much functions similarly how it was before. I've not built it though.
I always forgot that it had the bonus movement speed on it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. I built Roa probably like 3 times in that version of the mythic version.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy playing with it. Even if it was like the go-to Lilia jungle item, I just stopped playing Lilia instead.
Yep, same old same.
And
Alright.
then Catalyst, 1,300 gold. The recipe is a ruby crystal, sapphire crystal, and then 550 gold. Health going from 300 to 350, mana 300. That's just okay. It's unchanged. And then the Eternity passive. Restore mana equal to 7% of pre-mitigation damage taken from champions, and health equal to 25% of mana spent. Up to 20 health per cast per second. So.
Same old.
Yep.
A little bit more HP.
Nothing new.
Yep. And then we got Lichbane. Total cost went from 3,000 to 3,100 gold. The item recipe went from a Sheen, Aether Wisp, Phoenix Codex, and 550 gold to Sheen, Hextech Alternator, and Aether Wisp for plus 150 gold. The ability power went from 85 to 100. Ability haste is still 15. Bonus movement speed is still 8%. And then unique passive Spellblade, it is the same thing. You get after an ability enhanced auto attack, which scales off AP. The numbers are the same. And then Spellblade now grants 50% attack speed while available.
They did change this. They did change the base AD on Lichbane, so it was 75%. Now it's 100, but the AP effect is the same.
Oh yes, I missed that. I didn't see the line. Yep. So exact same item, bit more damage.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you want to take Nashor's Tooth too?
Yep. Nashor's Tooth went from 3,200 gold to 3,000 gold. The recipe went from a recurve bow, blasting wand, Phoenix Codex, and 750 gold to a recurve bow, blasting wand, Phoenix Codex, and 550 gold. So a bit better there. Get rid of that 200 gold. And then the ability power went down from 100 to 90. Ability haste is 15 still. Attack speed is still 50%, and the passive is unchanged. It gives you on hits magic damage.
Yep.
And then we have Morellonomicon.
Yeah, just finish us out.
Yep, 3,000 gold to 2,200 gold, so a lot cheaper. Item recipe went from a Oblivion Orb, Hextech Alternator, Amp Tome, and 715 gold to Oblivion Orb, Phoenix Codex, and 50 or 500 gold. Still gives 90 AP. They added on ability haste to the item, giving you 15. They removed the 10 magic pen and removed the 200 HP, and it still gives you the same passive for healing reduction, which I think was 40%. And you deal magic damage to them. So just less damage, and you get cheaper Grievous Wounds. So it's okay.
And no health on it too.
200,
yeah.
200 or 2,200 gold, so more supporty.
Yep.
And that is it for mage items.
Wow, that took us a lot longer to go through than I thought it would have. Okay, so we can see how much more we can go through on these, but I'd say if we keep a pretty brisk pace, we should be a bit better. Okay. But we may have to split the items apart into another one as well. Or maybe I just solo record walking through the rest of them at some point. But we can get through the fighter and divers for sure. So, Hullbreaker is the first one. They removed from the fighter and divers items, they removed Gore Drinker, Divine Sunder, Silvermere Dawn, and Iron Spike Whip. Those are all gone. Hullbreaker has been changed. Cost is unchanged. The new recipe is Tunneler plus Rectrix plus Pickaxe plus 125. It gives you 65 AD, 350 health, 5% move speed. So it's got two unique passives on it. The first one is called Skipper. Every 5th basic attack against champions and epic monsters deals 140% if you're melee or 70% if you're ranged. Base AD plus 3.5% maximum health bonus physical damage, increased to 400% or 200% melee range respectively, plus 7% max health bonus physical damage against structures. The second one is Boarding Party. Nearby allies, siege, and super minions gain 20 to 135 if you're melee, and 10 to 68 if you're ranged, and both of those are based on level. Bonus armor and MR. So it does the same sort of thing as before, but it's got the new empowered auto attack, which is not going to be as good for. It's not going to do nearly as much if you're building a bunch of damage items and then you build Hullbreaker, as opposed to if you build a bunch of health and then build Hullbreaker. I'm already loving this for Scion. This is amazing.
Yep, Scion lovers will enjoy.
Yep. And I'll go find Tunneler and Rectrix as well real quick, since that is part of the recipe. So, Tunneler is 1100 gold. The recipe is Longsword plus Ruby Crystal plus 350. Gives you 15 AD, 250 health, no unique passive. And then Rectrix, I have to control F for this. Rectrix, that's the different. Okay, Rectrix. Total cost is 900. It's a longsword and 550 gold. Gives you 20 AD and 4% movement speed. No unique passives. So they're just stat items. Cool. John, you want to take Bork?
Yeah, Bork. 3,200 gold. Recipe is Vampiric Scepter, Pickaxe, a Recurve Bow, and 725 gold. It gives you 40 AD, 25% attack speed, 8% lifesteal. And then the passive is Mist Edge, like it was before. Attack supply an additional 12% for melee, and then 9% for ranged enemy current health, physical damage on hit. And then the other passive, Clawing Shadows. This is new. By the way, your first basic attack against an enemy champion slows them by 30% for 1 second. This is a 15-second cooldown. I mean, I've tried this on Master Yi. I think Master Yi feels great, by the way. Also, Bork, and I think this specifically for him, I mean, the new passive seems pretty good on him. I mean, it's kind of like old Duskblade with the slow was good on him for
This
that reason,
is
because it gave you the 90%, but I mean, not nearly as much slow, but I mean, this is pretty good. It helps you stay on them.
Yeah, I like this a lot more. It's worth. So they did remove a unique passive, and I'll just read it so people are aware. It was basic attacks on hit against enemy champions apply a stack for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. The third stack consumes all of those stacks to deal 40 to 103 based on level bonus magic damage on hit and slow the target by 25%. So they move where the slow is, and it grants you 25% move speed for the same duration. So that's what was removed. That more bursty and move speed steal. Now it's just more. It's more clear in how it works, and I think it's a lot cleaner of an item.
Like it. Yeah, I like it overall. So,
Yep.
yeah, it was a little confusing, the old passive, I will say. So,
One auto for a slow is very good.
Yes.
yeah, it is. The next thing, Phage, 1,100 gold. Recipe is a Ruby Crystal Longsword and 350 gold. Gives you 15 AD, 200 health, and kind of similar to Bork. I feel like they're just making the passive just like a little more intuitive. So now the passive is attacking a unit grants 20 move speed for 2 seconds.
It used to do some healing over time, is what it used to do.
And I feel like for junglers, like that was such a bad.
It was terrible.
It was a useless component. Useless.
Yep.
So now I think it's like the move speed's pretty good. So I like the change for sure.
Yep, move speed is good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Heckern would like that.
Yeah,
This new
built
phage.
from a couple items.
Yeah.
So build path's nice with phage. Okay, next up we got Eclipse. New Eclipse. Total cost 2,800. The recipe is pickaxe, longsword, Caulfield's warhammer, and 800 gold. Gives you 70 AD, 15 ability haste, and has the passive Ever Rising Moon. Hitting a champion with 2 separate attacks or abilities within 1.5 seconds deals 8%. 8%. Is that range or melee and ranged?
Yeah.
So 8% melee, 4% range, max health, bonus physical damage. It grants you a 160 base shield with plus 40% bonus AD for melee, and then an 80 flat and a 20% AP or AD ranged shield for 2
The
seconds.
ranged
6 seconds
shield
cooldown
is exactly half as strong as the melee shield.
in all aspects. Yeah, I mean it's a great item. 6 seconds for a shield that's 200 plus, guaranteed 300. So, yeah.
I
Looks
very
really
much
good.
like that this no longer has lethality tied to it, and it's just AD and ability haste. So for champions that don't give a shit about lethality and actually would prefer the AD itself or the ability haste and the shield, before it felt a little weird to be building lethality if you didn't want it.
Yeah, and Eclipse also right now, I think we were talking about earlier, synergizes really well with an item we're going to talk about later, Sundered Sky. It just that shield gives you so much survivability.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
they're actually on the same cooldowns, the passives.
Yeah.
So that's nice, honestly.
Eclipse, same thing but different.
Yep.
Like the rest of the items, yeah.
Same thing with Spear of Sojin. It's same but different. So the cost is 3,100 gold. The recipe is pickaxe, Kindle Gem, and Caulfield's Warhammer. I believe that was the same as the old build path. And then plus 525 gold. The AD is 55. It gives you 300 health, 20 AP. Your non-ultimate spells gain 15 ability haste, and then your spell hits grant stacks. Your spell hits grant stacks. Your spells deal 3% increased damage for each stack, minimum of 4 stacks. This is mostly the same, but they removed the Dragon Force passive, which for some goddamn reason was on there, which would give you like move speed as well. It was such an overloaded
It gives you
item.
a lot of move speed.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look up exactly what it
On
was.
the people that built it too, like it was already like
It was so good. I would say
Yeah.
it'd be worse now, but like it's still a good item. Increasing your damage by 12% on your abilities or your spells is very good. Plus, that's a lot of ability haste for your non-ultimate. 35 ability haste for one item. It's really nice.
Yeah,
I
so
build this in Heckram every game.
Dragon Force. Okay, so there were 2 that are gone. Dragon Force was gained 15 basic ability haste. So they just changed. They just didn't give it a name. But Focused Will was dealing ability damage grants a stack for 6 seconds up to 4. Your damaging ability. Oh, what? Oh, old. Oops, I'm reading the wrong thing. Sorry. Dragon Force. Yeah, it gave percent bonus AD. Healing, or not healing. Ability haste. And then, Exigency, that's what it was. Gain up to 15 or 10% bonus move speed based on missing health, capped at 67% missing health. Why? That makes no sense for the build path, the item, or what it's trying to do. So, glad that's
that
gone.
actually is just so
many
random.
stats.
It's so
Yeah,
random.
let's just throw this on here.
Yeah. So stupid.
Yeah, that is Spear doing the same shenanigans, but less movement speed.
Yep.
It doesn't give any.
It does, yeah. And I'll just go through the Tiamat and the 2 Tiamat items that are right here as well. So, Tiamat builds into a few items. I'm going to cover it first. The total gold is 1,200. The new recipe is Longsword 550 gold. It gives you 20 AD, and now the passive attacks deal 40% AD if you're melee, 20% AD if you're ranged, damage to other units within 450 units of the target hit. That's mostly the same. However, now it has an active, which is Crescent, deal 80% physical damage to nearby units within 450 units. 10-second cooldown. If you're unaware of what 450 units is, I believe that's Vayne's auto range. It's a little bit more than Lilia's auto range. So 450 is a pretty large area. And so people who used to play back in the day, Tiamat had an active, and it's back. So there's that. Okay, so Ravenous Hydra. The total cost 3,300. So this is expensive. The recipe is Tiamat plus Caulfield's Warhammer plus Vampiric Scepter and an additional 200 gold. 70 AD, 20% ability haste, 10% lifesteal. It has the same passive, but it's reduced to 350 units as opposed to 450. And Ravenous Crescent, the active, deal 100% total AD to everyone within 450 units, and this damage applies lifesteal as well. And that's on a 10-second cooldown. Ravenous was an item that was hotfixed, as was Titanic Hydra. So Ravenous was changed. What exactly changed here? The lifesteal went from 10 to 12% on the item, and the cast time was a quarter of a second. Now it references users' auto attack cast time. So if you have really high attack speed, it'll go off faster than if you have really slow attack speed. So that was the change there. Let me go back down to where Ravenous is now. Titanic, and go through that, and then we can talk about the Tiamat items writ large. Titanic, total cost 3,300. Item recipe: Tiamat, Tunneler, Ruby Crystal, 600 gold, 55 AD, 550 health. It has the same crescent active on your next attack. Cleave will deal 6% if you're melee, 3% if you're ranged, maximum health, bonus physical damage to your target, and 9% if you're melee, 4.5% if you're ranged, max health, bonus physical damage for the shock wave that it does around. And the passive is basic attacks deal 4 plus 1.5% maximum health if you're melee, 3 plus 1.25% max health if you're ranged, bonus physical damage on hit to your target, and 40 plus 3% max health if you're melee, 30 plus 2.25% max health if you're ranged, bonus physical damage to other enemies in a cone on hit. It's not the area around, it's a cone like it was before. And Cleave's damage also applies to structures. That, I believe, is new. It also has been changed. It came out of the gate way too strong, apparently. So the AD has been reduced from 55 to 50, and the health is down from 550 to 500. So that's that. And then there's one other Hydra item, which I'm going to go through as well, since we're talking about Tiamat stuff right now. It's called Profane Hydra, and it's in the Assassin section. But it's 3,500 gold.
Yeah.
The recipe is Tiamat, Brutalizer, which is Christ, I'm not going to talk about Brutalizer right now. And 813 gold, a very specific number. The AD it gives you 60 AD, 18 lethality, 20 ability haste. The cleave passive is the same as Tiamat, and then the active is Heretical Slash. It's deal 80% total AD to physical damage to nearby enemies. This damage is increased to 120% of your total AD to enemies below 30% health. So it's more of an execute style. It gets better the lower health your target is. This would be used ideally at the end of your combo rather than at the start. And then Profane went down in cost from 3,400 to 3,300, and then they buffed its active as well. So it used to be, so now it actually deals 100% of your AD to enemies within a 450 unit radius, which is increased to 150% against targets below 50% max health. So they increased the execute style threshold, increased the raw damage, and increase the execute damage as well as making it cheaper. So that's a lot of buffs to Profane Hydra. Tiamat items writ large, Colin, what are your thoughts on them?
Well, that buff, that hot fix is insane.
It is. Yeah.
30% extra AD, and the
It
threshold
is.
being 50 is so good.
So good.
That is ridiculous. I tried playing Hecarim with it. Wasn't really a fan of it. Tiamat didn't really feel right because you had to like weave it into your combo. It just felt clunky. But I've seen some Titanic Hydra at work, and that has been an absolute menace in the games. It's been in Xin Zhao, just mowing people down with it.
I've seen Jax loving it too.
Oh yeah, I see that. And does it? Yeah. So it deals more damage based off max health. So I'm gonna guess like Sion still building this. all your HP abusers.
All your HP. It's actually better now than it used to be for HP stackers.
All right, there we go. So yeah, good overall there. And Ravenous Hydra, similar item.
It doesn't have that
Not much to say
stacking
about it.
mechanic anymore, which is good because that thing was
Oh, sure.
garbage.
It's no longer fake Magi's.
Yeah.
We have a different one.
John,
New
have you
fake
built
Magi.
these at all?
I built Titanic Hydra a decent bit on Zinzao, Warwick. I actually did the one build that I went Bruiser. Or the few times that I've done Bruiser Rengar, I've done. I tried one time. I got Titanic. I think I want to say third or fourth or something like that. I was just wanted to try it. I think in general they feel good. I think Ravenous Hydra is not as good, I guess.
It seems like Ravenous is kind of crap unless you're a few specific champions like Riven or
Yeah.
Fiora maybe or something like that. Otherwise, Titanic if you're tanky, but otherwise I would say outside of that, go Profane. It looks crazy good.
Yeah, that I think so. The hot fix to both of those, yeah. Profane does, yeah. It feels really good on Rengar. Profane Hydra does. Your clear is disgusting once you get this item too. It makes it so that you have definitely can keep more on par with faster clearing champs like Kane, stuff like that. Just
Brand.
Hecarim, yeah, Brand that can just clear so fast.
I imagine that Talon is gonna love this as a jungle item, but
Oh, yeah.
but Zed
Yeah.
will love these as well in lane.
So one thing they
Yeah.
did change with the Ravenous Hydra, they made it that it's no it's not spells or abilities that are triggering it anymore. It's like Zed poking
Oh
from a mile
yeah.
away with his Qs is gone.
Thank God.
So that wave clear's gone, and that team fighting is a little worse.
It still will
Or a lot
work
worse.
on Ezreal for people who want to build it. His Qs do apply on-hit effects, which should trigger the cleave passive. But you don't really want to be building the Tiamat items anymore unless you're going to be in range to use the active, I think. Otherwise, you're just paying wasted gold. It's like buying 2 Sheen items. If you do, why? Just change
I
your
mean, it
build.
does work with Titanic because it is your next on hit, your next attack.
True. Titanic could be the one outside of that.
That would be the one of the three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. I'll take us on to Hearthbound Axe.
Cool.
We got total cost 1,200 gold. It is a dagger, longsword, and then or 2 daggers and a longsword at plus 250, and it gives you 25% attack speed and 20 AD. If I'm not mistaken, that used to have a passive on it. The now phased passive.
It used to have a little.
right?
I think it did. Yeah,
Movement
some
speed?
sort of
Yeah.
movement speed or
On-hit
on
It,
hit.
movement
it
speed. I
used
think
to have movement speed, yeah.
20 for melee and like 10 for range, I think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. Then we have Stride Breaker. It's 3,100. It's built out of a phase, pickaxe, dagger, 825 gold. It gives you 50 AD, 20% attack speed, 400 HP. The active Breaking Shockwave, slow nearby enemies by 30% and gain 30% bonus movement speed per champion hit that decays over 3 seconds. You can move while casting this. It's 15-second cooldown. Passive temper. Dealing physical damage grants 20 bonus movement speed. So you get the movement speed from it. And I mean, you can get a lot of movement speed with this item. It's
Holy
like
Darius
per
item.
hit. Yeah, slow plus movement speed. That's exactly what it wants.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of bruisers and anyone who wants to just sit on you and beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Anyone can take this. It's a good item.
Yep.
But,
Let's see. Experimental hexplate. So, John, why don't you take this one for us?
Yeah, so experimental hexplate is 3K. It is built out of tunneler, noon quiver, and 600 gold. Gives 55 AD, 20% attack speed, 300 health, and then the passive is you gain 30 ultimate ability haste. And then the other part of the passive is after casting your ultimate, gain 35% attack speed and 15% bonus movement speed for 7 seconds. I've tried this on a few people. I mean, it feels really good. I've tried it on Master Yi. I think it feels great on him. Nocturne. I think this is really good
Good
on
for
Nocturne.
Zinzao.
Sinzao, yep. Um,
So it's worth noting that this wasn't changed experimental hexplate, but it was incorrect in the patch notes. The bonus move speed is actually 8 seconds, not 7 seconds.
Oh, it's even better.
gotcha.
Yep.
Nice, lovely. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's a cool item. Definitely good.
Alt-centric item.
Yeah,
cool.
very old centered, but yeah, with Master Yi, like this, it synergizes crazy well with his ult, and 300 HP is always nice. Yeah, I mean, I think he likes all those stats. Nocturne, I mean, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty fun item, I think, too.
Yep. Okay. Colin takes Sundered Sky.
Sundered Sky. Total cost is 3,100 gold. We got Tunneler, Caulfield's Warhammer at 900 gold for the recipe. Gives 55 AD, 300 HP, 15 ability haste, and has the passive Light Shield Strike. The first attack against a champion will critically strike and heal for 140% base AD plus 6% missing health. And it doesn't say it here, but the cooldown is 6 seconds, which is the same as Eclipse as we were saying before. And that crit can be very nice because a lot of damage, especially with the base AD champs. And the heal is insanely good, which is great for a fighter. You have this in Eclipse, you're just probably not gonna die.
I saw
Unless you-
Viego
yeah.
healing just like hundreds of health with this plus Bork and maybe some other item. I'm not sure. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, you can do it on every so. There's 5 people around you. You can just hit them all at once, and then at that point, it's almost off cooldown already on the first person. So, you 6 seconds is really good for the cooldown.
I've tried this on Bruiser Rengar, and I was always surprised by how much it healed by the end of the game. Like it was just any like spammable ability like Rengar Q, especially because it crits as well. I mean, it's so nice. You get so much healing.
Yep, I've been taking on Hecarim. I've seen Zin take it. I saw Viego take it once. Bunch of champions can use it very well. Jarvan uses it. Not that Jarvan's in the best spot right now, but he
Yep.
does use it very well.
Okay, well,
That's that.
I'm gonna keep moving on here. Steel Sigil is in here, but that is it's only built into GA. I'll cover that when we get to the marksman items in another episode because we're already an hour and a half and struggling to get through 2 categories here. Okay, Wits End. The total cost is down by 400. It is now 2,800. The build path has changed as well. It used to be Heartbound Axe, Null Magic Mantle, and Recurve Bow plus 950. Now it is Recurve Bow, Negatron Cloak, and a Dagger plus 900. Equally painful, different route to getting there. Attack speed 40% to 55%. The MR went up by 10, now it's 50. It now gives you 0 AD, so it used to give you 40, now it gives you none. It does give you 20% tenacity, though, however. So the passive Fray attacks apply 15 to 80 based on level, bonus magic damage on hit, and grant the user 20 bonus movement speed for 2 seconds. Attacks apply 15 to 80 based on level, bonus magic damage on hit. So basically the same sort of passive. It's just a stat change around, and it's cheaper now. But it does give you 0 AD, so be aware of that, folks. Have you guys built Wits End at all?
I built it once on Yasuo because I played against a team out top, and we just sat there for like 20 minutes and did nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of a nullifying item now.
Yep, yeah, Tenacity is very nice. I like that they put that item besides Merc Treads. It's great.
I tried it on Master Yi. Yeah, man, it's super. Any source of tenacity is incredibly valuable on characters like that.
Yeah, so
Yep,
now you
and
can
800
get
gold
close
is
to
cheap.
75, I think, or 70% tenacity.
That's crazy with like
Merc
legend
Treads,
tenacity
Legend
and everything.
Tenacity, Wits End. Yeah, and then if you could also get it with I think
Unflinching.
Unflinching, and then also some champions have it built in too.
Garen W.
Yeah, Mundo as well has or no, he used to, but he doesn't anymore. But yeah, Garen. So Garen might be able to get the most tenacity of anyone um, in the game. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
Overall
Colin, take
game.
Triforce since you've used it.
Triforce. Yeah, it is the classic cost of 3,333. The item recipe changed from Sheen, Hearthbound Axe, and Kindle Gem plus 733 to a Sheen, Phage, and a Hearthbound Axe plus 33. This is very nice to build. There's always something you can get. It's a great build path. I enjoy it. And Sheen's changed as well, which we'll talk about. Attack damage went from 40 to 4 or 40 to 55. The health is still 300. Attack speed is still 33%, and the ability haste is still 20. They removed the passive threefold strikes, which is like every time you hit someone with either an attack or an ability, you got ramping AD. And the spell blade is after an ability, or your next attack will deal an additional 200% based AD on hit, 1.5-second cooldown after the empowered attack. And it has a new passive quicken. Attacking a unit grants 20% bonus movement speed for 2 seconds. I've been using this a bunch on Hecarim right now. I don't think he's that great of an assassin right now because they did change his numbers a bit ago, but Triforce is really nice. So I've been using it a lot. Feels really good. The build path's great, and you always have something, even with 250 gold, which is nice. But yeah, I enjoy it.
So did they change Sheen? I'm not seeing it in the item
Yeah,
in this at all.
Now has a 10%. It's 1,000 gold. It's 10% ability haste, and you build a 250 little sigil thing that gives 5 ability haste, and then you build the full item.
Oh, okay. Because it's not in
So
the
you
patch
build
notes at all, so that's fun.
Yeah, so it's 250 for the small item, and Sheen is a total of 1,000. So
Got it.
750 more. Yep. Yeah, but that is basically it for Triforce. They're mostly the same thing. Got rid of some AD and got some movement speed.
Cool. John,
And then-
take Black Cleaver for
yeah.
us.
Black Cleaver is cost going from 3,100 to 3,000. The recipe used to be Phage, Kindle Gem, Longsword, and 850 gold. Now it's Phage, Kindle Gem, Longsword, and 750 gold. The health is unchanged at 400. 50 to 55 AD. The ability haste was lowered from 30 to 20. And then the passive carve, dealing physical damage to an enemy champion reduces their armor by 5%, stacking up to 6 times. That's what it used to be. Now it's dealing physical damage to an enemy champion reduces their armor by 4%, stacking up to 6 times.
Whoa.
A whole percent. And then the other passive rage, attacking a unit grants 20 move speed for 2 seconds. And then there's a note that there is no longer a move speed correlation between rage and the number of carb stacks acquired. That's strange.
Yeah, so this is the exact same item, just
Yep.
slightly weaker
Yep.
in terms of passive, but you do get a little more AD for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
think it's pretty much the same item.
On to Sterix Gauge.
Last one. So, all right, I'll do this one, and then I think we're probably going to wrap for this episode because it's an hour 40 here. So, Sterix Gauge, total cost is 3,000 gold, unchanged. The item recipe was Pickaxe plus Phage plus Ruby Crystal plus 625 gold. Now it is Pickaxe plus Tunneler plus Ruby Crystal plus 625 gold. The health is down by 50, so it was 450, now it's 400. But you get 20% tenacity now on this. The unchanged passive gain bonus AD equal to 50% of your base AD, totally the same. And then the shield you still get, it still activates when you go below 30% health. You still get 80% bonus health shield, and it still decays over 4.5 seconds. However, the change is you no longer get 30% tenacity. That's gone. The tenacity is now baked into the actual raw stats of the item. And the size increase used to be 25%, now it's 10%. The duration of that shield is still 8 seconds. Or sorry, the duration of that 10% size is still 8 seconds. So I like this change better now. It's a slight adjustment to Sterix Gage's stats, but I like it a lot more.
More tenacity on items. Woohoo.
Woo!
I didn't even notice that.
Nah,
Like, when
I
I
had
was-
no idea. I was building Sterix Gage because I wanted the shield on Echo, and then apparently I had tenacity the whole time, so that's good.
Little do you know, you had 20% tenacity.
So who could build Wits End and Sterix?
Jax.
I was thinking that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jax, yeah. Aurelia, maybe.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can't think of many others though.
Either out the top of my head.
I mean, unless you
think
do
Jax is
Master
the
Yi,
biggest-
and this is the one defensive item you buy.
Yeah, I still think with him, like, you're not getting in. Like, his base AD is not good.
Gnar,
It's hard to build Wits End now because it doesn't give AD. It's
yeah,
not worth for a lot of people now.
Yeah, that's true.
Gnar, I think could build this and still be totally fun. Well, he maybe builds Wits End. He definitely builds Sterix Gage, since Mega Gnar has the highest base damage in the game. So, okay. Well, there's a lot of other items that, because we talk too much, we're just not going to be able to get to tonight. So we'll do the tank, assassin, and I know John was looking forward to talking about all the assassin stuff. The marksman items, and the enchanter items as well. Those are all something we'll have to do in the future. What we could do, and okay, support items would be short, but again, we're running short on time. My eye is bothering me, plus it's midnight for Colin, so I don't want to keep you any longer. Here, we'll go through the starting items as well. Doran's Blade. It no longer has 2.5% Omnivamp, but now has 3.5% Lifesteal. And then Doran's Ring, you no longer have Drain, where you had to damage an enemy champion to get a lot of the regen. Now you just get a flat 1.25 mana per second, or 45% of this value if you can't gain mana, meaning you're either full mana or you're a manaless champion. So, those are those starting item differences. Obviously, if you play Ornn or are in a game with Ornn, you should pay attention to the Ornn item upgrades, because since there's no longer any mythics, you need to just learn what the Ornn items are again. And it does say specifically that Ornn will, when he's upgrading an item for you, it will prioritize slot 1, followed by slot 2, and so on. So if you have, let's say you have 6 items that Ornn could upgrade, you need to choose which one you want and put it into item slot 1 while he upgrades it. Then you can move it away, but make sure to do that. So, yeah. There's also, a decent amount of champion buffs and nerfs, so go check those out. We didn't get through a lot of the items that we wanted to, but it's because we put out good content for the rest of it. Quality over quantity. But, so I guess I'll wrap it up right here. This has been episode 835. If you have any feedback for us, send it to our feedback thread in our Discord server, or to questions@trinityforcenetwork.com. We also have a Patreon, so go check that out if you like the content that we produce and support us, and we appreciate anything that you're willing to give. Lastly, we have community game nights, which start at 7:15 Eastern time and run for as long as people are around to play. So with that, end of the episode, 835, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.